So I want to tell you guys about the hero's journey. The hero's journey is something that I learned from Joseph Campbell and his book called The Power of Myth and A Hero with a Thousand Faces. And it's about the hero's journey. And so in the beginning of life, we go throughout life with our parents telling us how to think, how to be, and then we have school telling us how to think and how to achieve, and then we have everybody else around us telling us that we fit into a society. And when you go on this hero's journey, in the beginning, you start to realize that you might be living the unlived life. You might realize that you're not living your purpose. You might realize that you have untapped potential, or you might be a little bit aware of the limiting beliefs that society has put on us. Just some examples of that. I was trying to brainstorm about, different examples that I felt in society. And one of them is I can't be myself or I might get judged. I don't want to get too close or my heart is broken. I don't want to ask for what I want or I might be rejected. I can't trust people because I've been betrayed. I can't pursue dreams because I don't know what I'd do if I fail. And I can't do X because of Y. Those sort of things. And so when we are implemented into a new job or we try something new, sometimes as soon as we take a little bit of a leap, we get a setback. And so following this hero's journey has actually helped me understand myself a lot better. And I hope that by explaining this that you can understand your journey a little bit better too. Joseph Campbell does a lot of studying different types of cultures, and he saw parallels in the myths that we tell each other. So the stories that we tell each other. So in the beginning, you realize your awareness, right? And you choose to leave. Whether that be a relationship, a home, a job, whatever the environment, you just choose to leave. And your search is basically for happiness. You realize you live the unfilled life and you want happiness and you want, how to live what you want and free. And so you go from leaving to facing yourself. And usually when you face yourself, there are some aspects of your unconscious that might scare the shit out of you. What are your biggest fears? Are you willing to admit certain things to yourself? But in order to really become authentic, and I believe to really live at your best potential, you have to dive deep and you have to be able to face certain parts of yourself. And when you face yourself, there's no point of return. So once you start facing yourself, you have to keep going, but it almost becomes fun in a way. And so once you find yourself buried underneath all of the conditioning, you have to take off layers and layers and layers. You find your undiscovered self. And this self of yours might be amazing at art or a business or some other aspect that you had never even known before. And so you're just living at your best self. And what happens is that when you try to take the best self and live your truth in society, it's really hard. It can be really hard. And people love you and they try to get you to become normal again and normal with them. And they get scared for you, if you speak up or if you're the oddball or God forbid that you drop out of school and not become successful and whatnot. It's a lot of limiting beliefs being put on you. And when you find your truth, I believe that this is a lot of society right now. Everybody's kind of waking up to different concepts. They're waking up to how bad our food is for us, our drinking water, our school systems, and even our current jobs. And so when you wake up and you try to live in a society, it's hard. You might feel really alone, and you have to have courage and vulnerability. But the cool thing is that our society is changing. We can create a safe space for people to be more themselves by accepting them for our differences. So once you live your truth, the first part of your journey is all about you. And when you live your truth, you start to realize what your purpose is. And it's almost like going into the cave and facing the dragon. And the dragon is basically your ego. And when you get into the cave, you find the treasure, and the treasure is your purpose. And all of a sudden, the switch goes to humanity. And I talk about this a lot because I had this huge switch. It just stopped becoming about me. And every day when I wake up, I'm just like, okay, humanity, how do I change? How do I make people better? I care about what people want in life because it's not all about me, you know? And so once you find your purpose, you're on a mission. And you figure out what you need to do. And so for me, I'm on a mission to change. And what do I need to do? Is I need to be an influence, and I need to be somebody who represents this be you in society. And then you create a movement. And so in this shift of the hero's journey, you might get a lot of people telling you different stories about the hero's journey, but for the most part, this is the path. And if I can make this any easier for you, you know, that's what my content is for. Let me know where you guys are at. You know, if you are, I kind of noticed this in the spiritual community where some people will be, they found themselves and they're living their lives, but they're away from society and they're secluded and they're not sharing their awakeness or their amazingness with society. And so I believe as spiritual beings, it's time for us to step up. It's time for us to lead people. It's time to us to face these societal boundaries and break through them instead of just running from them. But that's my belief. You're allowed to believe something different. So check this out, and I'll put a link for my blog post down below. And have a good night.